This time we are doing number 8 of our looks at things around Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And this time on tap is a look at Greensburg's first significant coal mine, which started out as Greensburg Coal around 1880, and by 1902 it was amalgamated into a larger conglomerate called Keystone Coal and Coke. At that location there had earlier been a farm mine. The Rue family farmed and dug coal there and sold it. Also, we'll take a short look at a brickworks there. The brickworks had been connected in a way with the mine because two of the people on the board of directors were the sons of George Franklin Huff, one of the major movers and shakers in the mine. And I think what we'll do here is switch over to take a look at things one at a time. We're looking at something that we saw in the last one. We saw things around here down in South Greensburg. And this time we're going to see things up this way. This is 1950 photo. It shows basically this was a kind of a barren, devastated industrial landscape. This is one of Leroy Smeltzer's pictures. This is a Google Earth view showing where the mine was, right in here, in an area right north of where Route 30 goes through. You see Route 30 indicated here. Rue Street goes right up through the middle of here today, although it wasn't there then. This shows where the mine was once upon a time, and it shows how it really wasn't incorporated in any of the surrounding localities. North up here it was the town of Greensburg. Over here is southwest Greensburg. Down here is South Greensburg, and they all shunned the mine. They didn't want it in their incorporated existence. It was kind of an example of not in my backyard. And it looks like this contemporary map shows the same situation prevails there. This shows the area where the mine was in 1867. PR stands for Peter Rue. The Rue family owned it, and they were running a mine there. You see that symbol? That symbol indicates the presence of a mine. That's a mine opening, mine entrance. 1912 shows us by this time Keystone Coal and Coke is in ownership. This is the area where the mine was, right over here. And all these other areas in yellow are also Keystone Coal and Coke. 1915 mapping shows us the mine. This is the mine, the entrance up here. And this is the tipple that loaded coal onto railroad cars that would pull in below the tipple. This is Highland Avenue coming down and becomes Broad Street going down into South Greensburg. This is my attempt to give an impression of what the mine might have looked like. And no one ever said that mines were pretty places. Most of them weren't. This right here is the tipple that stood out over top of the road and the railroad tracks to dump coal down on the waiting railroad cars. This is the view from the tracks. This is the tipple up here, and the place where the cars would come out to dump on the waiting railroad cars. There's a couple railroad cars sitting up here. The boiler house of the mine up here. This building was a laboratory that the mine had. Even though the mine shut down in 1926, this building remained into the 1970s at least. They Keystone Coal and Coke by 1910 had 17 mines within a 10-mile radius of Greensburg, and had enough money coming in to have a laboratory to analyze the products that they were making, to analyze the coal that they were digging and the coke that they were producing, so that they could tell their customers what kind of quality they were getting. This is Rue Street today. You'd never guess there was a mine there. That was the slag pile once upon a time right there. 1901, the Southwest Branch is coming up here, it's circling around here more or less. This was the stack of a glass plant that was right across the tracks from the mine. This was Keystone number 1 in 1901. We're looking again at mapping, seeing the area. Over the tracks was the glass plant, which I will give you a view of. It's another of my attempts to try to show what things looked like once upon a time. This was maybe around 1900. This was the glass plant over here. Right over here, which remained for quite a while. Over in here, you'll see structures relating to Keystone number 1 mine. This is the tipple coming out over the tracks. Here you see two things that remain from the time of the mine, and about the only visible evidence. This was a house built for people who worked at the mine, and this was the slag pile. These things are still there. This is Highland Avenue or Broad Street, depending on your point of view. By 1939, this area was an industrial wasteland. This is aerial photography from 39. This is where the mine used to be in this area. Mines have had a bad habit of going out of business and leaving a big mess for someone else to clean up. And even though grown-ups might look at it and see it as a horrible industrial wasteland, kids would not necessarily see it that way. For them, it might be a great place to play. As a matter of fact, Delver Smith remembers he and his friends, when they were little, playing in what was once the old Keystone number 1 mine, and he drew this to give an indication of what it was like. These were woods. There was a barn here by the woods, an old corn silo, and he remembered the old slag pile. They used to call it 60 Hill for reasons I do not know. Maybe someone can tell me. This is Highland Avenue and Broad Street. Shows where Rue Street went through. Contemporary mapping, just showing what's there. This is where the mine was right here. And there was a brickyard associated with the mine to some degree that ran right between the road and the railroad tracks. This was where the mine was. This was where the brickyard was. In fact, it was also called Keystone Brick. And several of the sons of Mr. Huff were on the board of directors there. That's that brickyard. That's the Southwest Branch running down. Walworth on that side. And then this is the brickyard, Keystone Brick. Same name as the mine. And Broad Street going past. This shows, again, the brickyard and this area over here, which was mapped also as a brickyard. And I put this in here as a matter of some curiosity. I thought maybe someone knows something about this, because the early plat map of Southwest Greensburg shows this brickyard down in the corner. And I've never seen any other reference to it. Incidentally, the people behind the origins of Southwest Greensburg were George Franklin Huff and General Richard Coulter, two of the movers and shakers of the mine, Keystone No. 1. This is my attempt to show where the brickyard was with reference to the bypass. The bypass apparently went right over where it was. This is Main Street going down. And I'm curious whether anyone else has ever heard of a brickyard there. Maybe it was associated with the one over by the mine as a place to dig clay, but I don't know that. I'm just trying to find out. But that's all we're going to do today. And I'm going to say so long and see you again. Bye.